And hello and welcome to Effective Evolution. And we're with Iapetus, a moon of Saturn. And with this particular panorama, we'll be looking at several types of PIAs. For example, PIA 06170 and also PIA 08384. And these were taken with the various crafts, such as Cassini and Voyager, to name a few. And after we implement some of the techniques, you'll notice some very interesting designs and structures on Iapetus. And we can come up with some ideas regarding what they could be and what Iapetus might be itself. The peculiar thing about Iapetus is that there is a dark side and a bright side. When it does orbit Saturn, it appears to disappear when the dark side is facing the craft, and on the bright side, it makes itself appear. So we'll explore this a bit further, and please enjoy. There are lots of panoramas available at the usual websites such as NASA, JPL, and the Gigapan, and also Gigamacro and Flickr, and various NASA URLs as well. So please enjoy. Thank you for your time. Effective Evolution. And today we're on Iapetus, which is a moon of Saturn. And Voyager and Cassini are some of the crafts that have taken various images over the years, and this would be PIA 06170, and this was taken in 2005. Voila, here it is right here. And the thing about this moon of Saturn is that it has a bright side and a side that is not seen at all, according to what orbital phase it would be in when it orbits Saturn. And with this particular panorama, after you're acquainted with it somewhat, you'll notice some very interesting structures all over the place. As usual, the beauty of highlighting, we get to this, and these are some spots to explore further. You can notice the prominence inside the crater here, as well as here, and various objects of symmetry, geometrical shapes, circles, and cylinders, ovals. All over the place, and that's the beauty of exploration with these pics. And of course you can utilize the resources, GPL and the photo journal, and also the Gigapan and Gigamacro, Flickr, and NASA URLs, just to name a few. And after we implement some of the tools of exploration, and zoom in a bit more, you can note some very interesting detail. Just notice these structures inside this quote crater, this cylindrical object rising up off of the surface. And what are these structures? And this contraption of some sort that's rising up out of this crater. Just to name a few, and the symmetry, the designs. Is Iapetus more than just a moon of Saturn? And is it a moon? What is going on here? Look at these shapes and shadows. And we'll explore a bit further if we may. It's very interesting how these structures just make themselves known to you after a while. With the shadow tool to bring out the darker areas and to burn out some more detail, we get this type of perspective. And just notice some of the intricate structures in here. Very remarkable design. There's that crater and the other crater that we were just going over, and areas of interesting designs. And some more detail is achieved. And just notice how this seems to be popping out and above the surface out of this quote crater, and the delicate patterns all over the place. Honeycomb shaped like craters or whatnot, and designs that imply they've been planned. Geometrical shapes and that structure that we mentioned as well. Just notice the intricate linear patterns of design here. With the Dodge instrument, we get this type of panorama, and this would enhance lighter areas so that we could go over the scenario with a lighter tone. And please note the interesting structures with this mode. may or may not be able to notice some very interesting detail here. Or elevation, perhaps. Intricate designs that bring attention to focus or whatnot. Some similar structures with a different type of overtone and whatnot. Symmetry all over the place. There's our friend that we noted seems to be some sort of machinery that's just rising up out of this quite crater. Intricate, very intricate designs. Further notes on the attractive areas of Iapetus, the moon of Saturn, with this PIA 06170 version, and with the fill light clarity mode. There are some areas to note, and that would be these areas here. And just focus in on these areas that seem to have interesting creations inside of these craters and on the surface, inside or on the surface or whatnot. Quite mesmerizing, to say the least. Structures that have symmetry and geometrical patterns, shapes embedded on the surface, and it looks like under the surface as well. Are they interconnected? Indicative of planned types of construction architecture and whatnot. Please have an explanation or whatnot if you'd like to. Or if you do have an explanation for this, it's
Speculation is quite enticing, of course. Given what is there on Iapetus with regards to this Voyager mode. Going right along, we're going over this area of Iapetus that we'll call Area 1, and we're adding on an instrument called the Fill-Light Clarity option, which is on this editor, and you get this type of gander. And we'll zoom in too and just notice the familiar structures we've been over, and perhaps you can notice some more detail. Be able to hypothesize as to what this amalgamation might be. I.e., is it mining equipment? Is it space observation apparatus? That's on and under the surface of Iapetus. With an implication of maybe other complexities inside of Iapetus, the moon of Saturn. Let's notice this. Appears to be a cylinder. Notice the shadow showing this top. Seems to have a round spherical component pointing up off of the surface. Structures inside here, linear patterns, familiar areas within this area. Side of Iapetus. The bright side, and this was taken in 2007 on September 10th. And this is PIA 08384. Just notice the various regions and various shades and color scheme and craters that seem to have objects inside of them, more visible perhaps to us. And of course, it does take some time to get used to the features of Iapetus with this particular gander, facilitated with the Cassini space probe. The other side of Iapetus, PIA 08384, and this is in the infrared mode with some highlights. And here's the area that is, quote, the Mount Everest type of area, and the objects inside these, quote, craters or whatnot. And with the infrared flare and grain adjustment features, you get this type of panorama. You can probably notice some very linear patterns on this side as well. Not to mention all of the other structures that we've brought to the attention already. And this area that's very peculiar, rising up off of the surface of Iapetus. Proceeding with the Iapetus, quote, Mount Everest region, which is a somewhat linear pattern of higher elevations. You can call them mountains or whatnot, but this would be the PIA 08404 version, which was developed around the 15th of October 2007 or so. And just notice the prominence here. And after a while, you'll probably discern some more detail. Especially after you implement the transformation tools. And in particular, we could concentrate on these areas here. Now you may or may not be able to discern some linear patterns of symmetry. And very peculiar designs. Is this a trick of the particular photo? How likely is that? And Iapetus is there. And just adding some augmentation to the perspective, we get this. Zoom in a bit as well. Just note the peculiar structures. Now, are these being confiscated for some reason? These structures are there on this elevated ridgeline on Iapetus. Just notice the linear patterns all over the place, even on top of this slope. designs, objects, quote, in the center of these, quote, craters or whatnot. Astonishing, just to say the least. Just sit back and relax, and we'll zoom in a bit more and utilize some transformation gadgets. Now just make a note of all of the various structures in this panorama of Iapetus. K0838 taken on September 10th, 2007, approximately. And there are some very symmetrical designs here. And are these craters, or are they platforms of some sort for various types of vehicles? In the Saturnian system, there are very remarkable and intelligent designs all over the place. And the, quote, the mountain-like Mount Everest type of hilly landform on this side might have implications for something, i.e. openings to the undersurface of Iapetus or whatnot. Just notice these designs and patterns. Something that's really planned and well thought out of. And some more insight into the craters of Iapetus. And this is crater 3. As well as the other craters. Crater 2, we'll call that. And the crater to the side of it. Crater 1. Just notice the amazing items that are in these, quote, craters or openings or platforms or whatever we may name them. And just notice the geometric designs, the elevation, shadows. Iapetus is quite an enigma. This moon of Saturn. brightness gadget, this panorama is generated. And yes, these are designs on the surface of Iapetus. Perhaps we can readily note some very interesting and intricate designs here. And the same vehicles we mentioned, perhaps some more as well. Looks like a vast intertwined network of structures are on Iapetus. A moon of Saturn. And are these in fact space vehicles? Perhaps through observation, mining equipment, visitors from other galaxies and worlds.
And several questions arise with Iapetus, a moon of Saturn. And what is Iapetus? And of course, what are these structures on Iapetus? Could they be space exploration vehicles or whatnot, or vessels? And or could they be mining equipment? Could they be friendly forms of communication with other parts in the galaxy or galaxies or whatnot? And exactly who is involved in the manufacturing of the various elements on Iapetus? Please go on with your exploration and go around with the various structures and come up with some ideas. And until next time, thank you for your time.